Hi, my name's James White. I'm also known on the internet as Preacher James, and today I'd like to talk about a couple verses from the book of Leviticus. A lot of people will like to use these verses to bash homosexuality, try to say that same-sex marriage is somehow immoral, but when you look at the Bible, what you have to do is you have to ask yourself an important question. Is this cultural, or is this applying to everyone, or is this universal? Is this a universal concept, or is this a cultural concept? Now, I'm not going to read all of chapter 18 in Leviticus. Bless you, my cat just sneezed. But let's just start with a couple verses, and we'll go from there. It says, verse 1, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel, and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You shall not do as they do in the land of Egypt where you lived, and you shall not do as they do in the land of Canaan, to which I am bringing you. You shall not follow their statutes. My ordinances you shall observe, and my statutes you shall keep, following them. I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, doing so. By doing so, one shall live. I am the Lord." That's verses 1 through 5. See, the whole point of this chapter really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's not, the main focus isn't about sex. The main focus is what God is saying to these people is, here you are. We don't want you to act like where you came from in Egypt. And we don't want you to act like where the people you're going, people of Canaan. So you look at all these different things about not sleeping with your aunt, not sleeping with your sister, or not sleeping with this person or that person, and all these relatives that you're not supposed to have sexual relations with obviously, you shouldn't be having intimate relations with people in your family. So, and then of course they always point out verse 22, you shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it's an abomination. Well, first of all, if you've ever heard people like Dr. James R. White from Alpha and Omega Ministries, or Michael Brown, Dr. Michael Brown, who has a show called Line of Fire, they will point out to you that, well, see, it says in verse 22 that this is an abomination. Those other things weren't an abomination, but this one is. Problem is, they don't tell you the rest of the story. Keep going. In verse 25, it's talking about these people that are in the land. It says, "Thus the land became defiled, and I punished it for its iniquity, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you shall keep my," verse 26, you shall keep my statutes and my ordinances, commit none of those abominations. So it's referring to the entire chapter. "Either the citizen or the alien who resides among you, for the inhabitants of the land who were before you committed all these abominations," verse 27. So there's a flaw in Dr. Brown's argument. Now, the problem is all of chapter 18, does that apply to just people of Israel, or does that apply to everyone? Here's the thing. If all of these are considered abominations, you have to look in verse 11. It says, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's wife's daughter, begotten of your father, since she is your sister." But basically your half-sister. Question is there anybody in the Bible that actually married their half-sister? And the answer is yes. If you go back to Genesis chapter 20, Abraham was afraid that they were going to basically snatch his wife, these people that he was hanging around with. And in Genesis 20, verse 12, he's talking about Sarah, and he says, she indeed is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. So he married his half-sister. Now think about this. If this verse here in Leviticus 18 is, in fact, something that applies to everyone, well then that means that Abraham, who's beloved of not just Jews and Christians, but also Muslims as well, committed an abomination. I don't think that's true. I think Leviticus 18 applies specifically to the people of Israel. Same with Leviticus 20. You see, everybody loves to talk about verse 13. They'll, see, it says, you'll not, if a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. Okay. So, the priests were not allowed to do that. Why? Because in order to make more Levites, they had to have more children. In order to be a Levite, your dad had to be a Levite. In order to be a priest, your dad had to be a priest. That's how it kept going. Now, does this chapter apply to everyone? Is it universal, or is it specific to the people of Israel? Well, let me ask you this. Go back 3 verses. Leviticus 20, verse 10. If a man commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. In the Holiness Code, adultery is a capital offense. Let me ask you this. Is there anybody that would be watching this video, or anybody that you know, going to say that somebody committed adultery, so we should put them to death? Excuse me. No. This passage applies specifically to the people of Israel, even more specifically the people who are Levites. Well, I can't say that. It says it is to the people of Israel. It's a specific passage to a specific group of people. It's not talking about 2 men or 2 women in a loving, committed relationship. It's not. So, unfortunately, people use passages like this to bash the gay and lesbian community, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. And but the good news is, I used to think that way, and thankfully, I feel like my eyes have been opened a little bit. Let me show you one more thing real quick. I got a little bit of time. I try to keep my videos less than 10 minutes. Fruit of the Spirit. See, I've visited churches that are predominantly gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, and oh shoot, that's Galatians. My bad. A little brain fart there. Stuff happens. Okay. Galatians 5. By contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There is no law against such things. I've, over the years, have met at least 100, or probably closer to 200, Christians who are gay or lesbian, bisexual or transgender. They all have the fruit of the Spirit. You're going to try to say they're not saved? Anyway, for more information about me, you can go to PreacherJames.com. My email address is preacherjames34@gmail.com. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.